Hello everyone, how are you doing today? We are going to learn a very good essay, and with the help of this essay, we will also learn a new structure. Let us first understand the question. Some people believe that it is the individual faith that helps recovery rather than the quality of the treatment or the qualifications of the doctor. What is more important according to you? So, whenever you have to analyze a question, whenever you want to understand the question, as we have discussed earlier also, the first thing that you should do is you should try to understand the background information and the question. So this is the question and this is the background information. All right. So yeah, it is very easy. It is very important to understand the difference between background information and the question, because many a times this background information uh, takes all the attention, and we write commentary on the background information, and we skip the question because it comes next. So you should read this part very very carefully and answer this. All right, the question is very clearly asking what is more important. So this more important is the crux of the matter here. What is more important out of the two things? What are the two things? Faith, and the second thing is doctor. So out of faith and the doctor, which factor is more important? Is faith greater than the doctor, or doctor greater than the faith? This is what you are supposed to decide. So whenever you write an essay, it is very very important to identify the question, the nature of the question. You have to tell what is more important according to you, and you're not supposed to say both of them are equally important. When this saying what is more important, yeah, you have to establish one as having a higher having more impact than the other. So in this essay, what we are going to say is that the qualifications of doctor are more important. So we are going to talk about that, and that would be written in a very emphatic manner. And we are also going to study the structure of the essay in terms of writing an exception paragraph. All right, so let's jump into the essay and see how the essay is written. All right, so whenever you start with an essay, you're supposed to write an introduction. So this is the introduction here. And whenever you write an introduction, I've always been saying that you are supposed to follow three steps. State the obvious, state your opinion, and invite for further discussion. Since yeah, so give some background information. State the obvious, which means simply restate the question, give some background information. State your opinion. Come straight to the question. When it is asking what is more important, very, very straight talk about what is your opinion. And then there is a discussion, an invite for further discussion. So there should be an invitation that, okay, let us look at all the aspects of it. Now look at this. There are typical three sentences here in the introduction. This is the obvious thing. Personal faith of the patient and the qualifications of a doctor. Both are vital in successful treatment. Both are vital means both are important in successful treatment. So in successful treatment, both these things are important. Then it says, however, which means it is kind of taking a U-turn. When you're saying both are important, I tend to believe, now this is personal belief, it is not a universal fact. It says I tend to believe because the question was according to you. So I tend to believe that a qualified practitioner, so instead of doctor you are saying a qualified practitioner, plays far more important role. So what is more important? So in the beginning itself you are answering this question, that he plays far more important role, and then this is invite for further discussion. So if you look at this, there are three statements. First is state the obvious, that both are important. Then your opinion, that a doctor is more important. And then the last thing, invite for further discussion. So this is an invitation. A deep dive into the subject will help us to understand various aspects of it. So this is a beautiful way of telling that go further, just read further. So this is how you are supposed to write your introduction. Now let us go to the first paragraph. The first paragraph, again, as you see, we have maintained a sequence of theme, example, and explanation. Whenever you start a sentence, you should start with a theme sentence. This is the theme sentence. There are many reasons to give higher priority to an able hand. Now, able hand is what? A doctor. And we are saying what? There are many reasons to give higher priority. Higher priority means more importance to an able hand. By virtue of treating, by virtue of means, by means of, because, those kind of things. By virtue of treating many patients with similar ailments. Now, this is again a good word. Ailments means many diseases. By virtue of treating many patients with similar ailments, because a doctor has already treated many patients with similar ailments, a doctor gains necessary experience to prescribe proper medicine based on symptoms, age, and other factors. Now, this is very beautiful sentence, and you should practice this by virtue of. So this is how you should first do, by virtue of. Now you should understand how to use by virtue of. Google it and see how to use by virtue of. Make 10 sentences using by virtue of. So whenever you find a new structure which you have never used in your life, first practice it. First master it by making 10 sentences on that new phrase. So you will understand how to use by virtue of. Then you write this essay. Writing one essay can be a foundation for writing 10 more essays if you follow this step. It's not just about writing one essay and finishing it. Some people say that when we model an essay, it's okay, we understand one essay, but then what if we get another topic? So this is what it is. One essay should set the foundation for 10 more essays if you follow this method. So whenever you find a new structure, be patient with yourself. First learn it. So you can say by virtue of treating. So by virtue of means by means of, because of. So by virtue of um, heat means through heat. By virtue of heat, we can transform water into steam. Now, this is a very crude sentence. I mean, it's a very simple thing, but we are saying by virtue of. By virtue of heat, we can transform water into steam. By virtue of his hard work, means by means of, by virtue of his hard work and dedication, comma, whoever, whatever you Kalam earned a lot of respect. By virtue of his hard work and dedication, Kalam earned a lot of respect in the society. So like this, I'm just throwing some sentences where I, by virtue of, is used from my own mind. What you should do is go to Google, just simply write by virtue of, and write 10 sentences on this before moving further. So this will set the right platform for you. This will make sure that you learn a lot of things by yourself. You are your best teacher, but you have to be patient with yourself. You have to go step by step. So master this phrase, by virtue of. By virtue of treating many patients with similar ailments, a doctor gains necessary experience to prescribe medicine based on the symptoms, age, and other factors. So we are telling why a doctor is good. Theme. You are giving an example that why a doctor is commands more respect than faith. And then to quote an example. So to quote an example is one way to tell that I'm writing an example. One of my friends who was unconscious after an accident was saved because he got proper medical assistance immediately. As he was unconscious, he did not even know about the name of the doctor or the type of medication given to him. So you made a scenario. This is like a hypothetical example. You have cooked a story that one of your friends was unconscious, and he was able to um, get treated. He was able to recuperate. Recuperate is like, come back to his senses. He was able to recuperate. He got good treatment. All that, we are cooking some examples and telling it. As he was unconscious, he did not even know about the name of the doctor or the type of medication given to him clearly. Now, see, this is one way of summarizing something. You can start with clearly. So, at the end, you can say clearly, or in other words. Either you can say in other words, or you can say clearly. Faith did not play any role in his recovery. Similarly, we see many examples of patients with severe diseases such as cancer. So, we are putting a comma here and telling what? Lead a normal life. Who leads a normal life? The patient leads a normal life. Which patient? Who was suffering from cancer earlier. So, this is what we have written. Similarly, we see many examples of patients with severe diseases such as cancer. So this is a modifier. No, which type of patient? The patient who was suffering for cancer. What is he doing now? Lead a normal life. Now, why are we saying lead a normal life? Because we are talking about patients. So patients is plural. When the subject is plural, the verb has to be singular. Patients with severe diseases such as cancer lead a normal life because of the treatment from an able hand. So this person is able to lead a normal life because of a good doctor. So see, this is how you can learn grammar as well. You don't have to read grammar separately. The best way to learn grammar is to learn grammar in a context. All right. So whenever there is a subject, when the subject is plural, the verb has to be singular, and that's what we are doing here. Patients is the subject, which is plural. So that is why we are saying lead a normal life, not leads a normal life, because when the subject is plural, the verb has to be singular. You know this, right? Ram goes to school. Why Ram goes to school? Because Ram is a singular subject, and that is why you are saying goes. But if you say there are two people, let's say Ram and Sham. So when it is Ram and Sham, you'll say Ram and Sham go to school, not goes to school. So go to school. So this is something which is very, very important. And this is very common error, subject verb agreement error. Study this, spend some time, half an hour on studying what is subject verb agreement, and take all the examples down in your learning notebook. Make your own learning notebook. I'm telling you, these are some golden nuggets of learning. You are your best teacher. And there is a lot of satisfaction and what you call sense of achievement when you teach yourself, when you find out ways to teach yourself, and you learn more. There is higher retention. So do this. Simply go to Google, find out what is subject verb agreement, and write a note on that. Okay, so let's move on. All right. So basically we are talking about the importance of a doctor, and we have taken an example. So many examples of patients with severe disease such as cancer lead a normal life because of the treatment from an able doctor. Now, we are just expanding this thought. Advancements in the field of medicine and surgery have further enabled doctors to treat dreaded diseases. So, one more sentence just to, expand our idea that why doctors are good. Now, faith is something which is abstract, but the field of medicine is growing. So, we are saying this. They constantly evolve their practices and methods to provide better treatment. So this is how you can write your structures, and you can depict your thoughts. The next thing we are going to study is about an exception paragraph. Okay, so let's jump into understanding what is an exception paragraph. So what is an exception paragraph? Let's try to understand this. An exception paragraph is a paragraph which is an exception, which means we are taking an exception. We are making a U-turn. What do you mean by a U-turn? So up till now, we were talking about the importance of doctor, that doctor is good, doctor is good. I mean, doctor is important. Now, in this paragraph, we'll talk a little bit about faith, because you are saying, no, you are making a comparison between doctor and faith. So it cannot happen that you will not mention faith at all right? You will make a little a little indication or a little idea of faith, give a little idea of what faith does, so that the essay is complete. On the flip side, this n is not required, this is incorrect. On the flip side, faith alone may not be able to help. So what we are saying is, a personal faith of a person or faith alone may not be able to help, because um, one second, I just delete this so that it is gone. Faith alone may not be able to help. Why? If the doctor is not skilled. So faith alone may not be able to help if the doctor is not skilled. All right, so we were talking about the exception paragraph. On the flip side, faith alone may not be able to help if the doctor is not skilled. So, now we are talking about the other side, that faith alone may not be able to help if the doctor is not skilled. People go with a lot of faith, but because of inappropriate medicines, they are killed, or their disease gets worsened. Now see, look at this again. Their disease gets worsened. When we are saying disease, it's singular, and that's why we are saying gets worsened. Disease is singular. Gets worsened. Gets, not get. Or their disease gets worsened or aggravated. The meaning of aggravated means further deteriorates or kharab ho jati hai koi cheez, so we call it as aggravated. So these are some good words and you have to learn them. Disease gets aggravated. Aggravated means it further deteriorates, it worsens, it goes further down. The purpose is not to undermine. Now, this is again a beautiful phrase that you can use in a number of essays. The purpose is not to undermine. Mug it up, write down, make some 10 sentences using this. When you want to sum up something, you can say the purpose is not to undermine the value of faith. So basically, you are not trying to underplay faith or tell that faith is not important. So that's what we are saying. The purpose is not to undermine the value of faith, which means faith has its own importance, and faith is you need to have faith, but a doctor plays a more important role. So you want to establish doctor at a higher pedestal. You are saying doctor is like here and faith is here. So it does not mean that there's no existence of faith. Faith also exists and faith also plays an important role, but all you are trying to say is that the doctor plays more important role. The purpose is not to undermine the value of faith, but a doctor plays a more important role. See, art of writing, art of depicting your thoughts in an emphatic manner is something which is super important. You can write a long sentence on this, but just look at the beauty of this small sentence. In a small sentence, you have established this, and that's what is required to clear the test. So this is what takes you from 7 band to 8 band or 8.5 band. You know, somebody else might write a long sentence on this one, but here you have written it so precisely. The purpose is not to undermine the value of faith, but a doctor plays a more important role. So this is the art of putting things across, and you have to be conscious about it, that whenever you make a sentence, it should be very precise and impregnated with lot of information. It should not be loaded with words alone. It should be uh, it should carry a lot of content and meaning. So this is important. To conclude, faith acts as a catalyst. Now again, look at this word. Catalyst means something which enhances something, which helps something from externally. Look at the definition of a catalyst from Google. Google it out. What is the meaning of a catalyst? Faith acts as a catalyst in the process of treatment. However, it is the medicine which actually cures a patient. So this is how you are supposed to write an essay. which is very precise, very simple, very clear. Just let's look at the question. Just go to the question and check whether the essay answers all the aspects of the question or not, and rewrite this essay and send it to me. This is a beautiful piece of writing, and I want you to rewrite this essay and send it back. All the best to you. Thank you so much.